Hey, what's up, tubers? This is John at SHTF Hunter. I don't think I've ever done a video quite like this before, but anyway, it's basically called "What Good's a Buried Gun?" Gun confiscation. It's not quite what you think it's going to be. This video may be edited a little bit because I'm probably going to go in different directions. This would be hard to stay quiet on topic of, so there may be some editing in this video. So basically, you know, a lot of people think gun confiscation, they think the government's going to go door to door, and I don't quite think that's the case. You know, one thing that brought this video on is the whole thing going on in Venezuela. I read somewhere where the Venezuelans actually give up their firearms about 6-7 years ago, and now they're fighting and dying. They're being shot in the streets and run over by armored cars and everything. You know, I'm sure y'all seen the videos of what's going on down there. So that's kind of what prompted this video. You know, people think of gun confiscation, they think the government's going to go door to door and take your guns. I don't think it's quite the case. I think what's going to happen is like the bump stock ban. You know, I mean, right now we have a Republican president, and times are good for firearms owners. But I can see in the future that what's probably going to happen sooner or later in the future. The Democrats are more of people with low morals, and this country is, you know, this country's morals are going further and further down. We're getting lower morals, and you know, Democrat voters are basically people who are living off a system, and you know that's going to get worse in the future here in the U.S. And those voters are willing to give up firearm rights to have free food, you know, basically. And so, in the future in America, you know, it's going to start with semi-automatic weapons, and you know, people are, you know, every time they have like a mass shooting, it gains more people support to ban firearms or semi-automatic firearms. So, you know, and when I say it's not quite what people think it is, like the door-to-door, I think you've seen it in like New York and a few other places. They even tried it here in Virginia to ban high-capacity mags, basically AR-15s. And what I'm trying to say, it's going to be like a bump stock ban when it finally happens. They're going to require everybody destroy or turn in their semi-automatics for destruction in like a 3-month time frame or something like that. You know, they're going to give you a time to turn them in or have them destroyed, and a lot of people is actually going to do it. They're going to turn them in, and so. And when you do that, you know, let's say all the semi-autos are gone, then people start using pump-action shotguns and bolt-action rifles to kill people. You know, mass shootings. There's already been mass shootings with bolt-action rifles and shotguns. It's already happened in the past. And so pretty soon, you know, they're going to be like, we got to ban these sniper rifles, these bolt-action sniper rifles. We got to ban those. Well, you've already given up your semi-automatic firearms. So they ban your bolt-actions. They ban your pump-action shotguns. Pump-action assault shotguns, whatever you want to call them. So they banned both of those. And you couldn't stop them because you done turned in or destroyed their semi-automatic ones. And basically you're going to become like the Venezuelans. Alright. Let's say you buried a couple firearms. You know, let's say a lot of people buried firearms. That's the whole thing. You know, the Venezuelans were, they're fighting in the streets with nothing, rocks, sticks, whatever, against guns. And so I'm getting ready to go off in another direction right now. Okay, I figured out what that direction was now. It took me a minute, but alright. So let's say, like, I've heard James Yeager's video. He said something to the point when he was talking about caches. He said if you think it's time to bury your guns, it's actually time to take those guns and take back your country. Alright, this is the thing I see. When it comes to, if it comes to assault weapon ban or just a firearm ban in general, just, alright, you're one person, and this is what's going, I think might happen. There's going to be isolated incidents where people do get the cojones, like take their firearm and try to do something, like, let's say attack federal agency or something like that. Let's say they do that. One person that will do that, and they will they're probably more than anything going to be villainized by the media, the news media. They're going to be shot dead. They're probably done it by themselves. They're probably going to be shot dead, villainized by the news media, and the public opinion against that person is going to be, it's going to be turned against that person, basically. And let's say their motive was because, the government tried to take their firearms and they had a problem with it. So that one person tries to do something about it and is shot and killed and villainized. But I don't see, Americans here on the East Coast, especially here on the East Coast, I don't see them standing up for anything like that, against anything like that. Out in the western states, you remember the Bundys, Cliven Bundy and his boys. Some of his boys, I can't remember the names, but they went up to the Malwire animal refuge and, was fighting for the Hammonds. They was trying to take up for the Hammonds, fight for them. And it garnished a lot of support of people out there in, I guess, some of the more western states. And some of the YouTubers here on the eastern states, the week before that, they were like, oh yeah, we're the militia, we're going to take back this country. The week before that happened, and then the next video they're making, oh no, this stinks to high heaven. No, I don't know those people. I don't want to have nothing to do with them. They're not standing, regardless right or wrong on the Bundy side, they will not stand with the Bundys. Oh, did you see how professional the FBI was with, dust covers closed, figuring out their triggers, safety's on. Did you see how professional the FBI was? They was quick to join. They didn't want to have nothing to do with that. They didn't want anybody else to think they had anything to do with the Bundys and the Malwire wildlife refuge situation. So that's what I'm saying. Until things get Venezuela bad, or a dictator takes over, you've lost your firearms rights. Until you get a huge group like in Venezuela ready to fight, until that time, nobody's going to stick together, basically. Until it gets so bad, until it gets Venezuela bad, you're not going to stick together as people. But by that time, you've already lost your firearms. So, my question is, what good is a buried rifle? A buried rifle is a real good thing. Alright, alright, we're going to go off in another direction now. So they have banned assault rifles. Everybody's turned them in by the 3-month period. You still have yours. A neighbor sees you carry it into your house. The neighbor The nosy neighbor calls the law, says, hey, he's still got his semi-automatic high-capacity firearm in this house. Alright, they do decide to come to your house. And you say you're one of the people who say that you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. Well, that's exactly what they're going to do. When they get to your, a SWAT team shows up at your door, you have two choices: fight it out or surrender. Your family's inside the home. You're not. I honestly, the biggest majority of people are not going to put their family at risk. The biggest majority of people are going to surrender their firearms, and their family's going to live. Alright, you just surrendered your firearms right there. So what good was that gun you got buried back there in the mountains? That gun's going to do you a lot of good in future. They can only hold you so long in prison or whatever, jail, whatever, if it even comes to that. So what good that rifle buried in the ground? It's a lot of good. So that's just my take on it. I think when it comes to gun confiscation, it has to get Venezuela bad before people will actually unite and band together. But at that same time, you've already lost your firearms rights. So it's time to go, at that time, it would be time to go dig up your buried rifles. I don't know how many people in this community actually have caches of firearms or ammo or whatever, but so that's pretty much how I believe it's going to go down. The biggest majority of people are going to surrender their firearms without incident. And you don't, the government, you've seen time after time, the government will run over your house with a tank if they have to. If that's what it takes to get you out of that house or disarm you, that's what they'll do. They'll park a tank in your yard, they'll run over your house, they'll kill you. I mean, you're just one person basically. You're just one person until it gets Venezuela bad. So, alright, this is John, SHTF Hunter, I'm out.